Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 7 of Off the Board with Pineapple Papers, a hop started by Crystal Barrett with Pineapple Papers. And it is a hop for us to finally dive into our Pinterest pins and pull something that inspires us and create. So this pin is from P&G Tree, and actually I have been selecting my pins by random, but I found this paper that I love by Vicki Boutin in the Color Study collection, and I just wanted to use it, so I thought I was just going to create a regular old layout, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go see if I can find a pin that would be cool, that encourages me or gives me an idea for how to use it. So I found this one, and so I have my Vicki Boutin Color Study, and I brought in my little ephemera kit, and then I have, like I said, this project pad with some stickers that are left. And the reason that I really wanted to do this specific one is this paper is one of those that I never want to use because I love it so much, and I'm really challenging myself to try and do that. So then I have this color book, solid like grays, and so it's like a black charcoal, and then I have all these scraps, and I am working really hard to use some scraps up, and I mean obviously it's a lot, and that is all Color Study right there, all Color Study. Can you tell I like that collection? Maybe a little bit. So I have my papers, my ephemera, these pictures of the night sky, and this really cool pin. So let's see how this goes. So I trim my paper to a 12 by 12, and then I stare at this beautiful paper because I don't know what I want to do because it's so pretty. But I'm going to do it, you all. I tear it. And in the pin, there's like a swoosh. And so I kind of tear it in a swooshy fashion. I originally thought I might cut it, but I really love the look of torn paper, especially when it has that white inside. So these are the two pictures, and they're just pictures I took one very late night. Really, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I just thought the sky was so gorgeous. I've been really documenting just God's beauty, honestly. And sometimes I will be outside letting the dog out, and I'm like, oh, that's just gorgeous. And then this tree that's in the bigger picture is like, this was our neighbor's tree. And for some reason, I have always been drawn to it. When it's full, it looks like a heart. And in the winter, it's just really cool looking, like when the ice gets on it and things. So I take a lot of pictures of this tree. So I want to document these. These were both taken about 2 o'clock in the morning on March the 18th of this year. And not for any particular reason other than what I said. So I decided that even though she doesn't, or whoever it is, does not have anything at the top, except for some stars in the sky, I really thought it would look cool to have this little bit of yellow up at the top as well. So I matte both my pictures in a white cardstock matte, and then I'm going to put this down on this little scrap that I had pulled off, and then I'm going to have the bottom corner of that little one hanging off, and then the top corner of the other one hanging off. So they're not going to meet, but they're going to both cross into the night sky, that black space. So, and I really do, this is a pretty simple layout. What you see is mostly what you get. I'm going to add a few embellishments and some stars in the sky, a title or two, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But really, it's pretty simple. And had my 20-year-old daughter not called, and I had to stop recording and start recording and stop recording and start recording, I probably would have had this done in less than 30 minutes. So, you know, it's part of being a mother, and I love being a mother. So I get this down to where I want it. I want to have a little bit of yellow around the top and the side, but I don't want it to be a ton. So I really just want a little bit up there at the top. So I put that down to where I'm going to have maybe a little more than a half of an inch, or no, a little under half an inch border at the top, and then probably more like a 1/4 of an inch on the side. And then I pulled this down on the bottom so that there is a gap because I don't want the whole thing to be covered. So there it is. I trimmed it off after I tacked it down. And I love how this is looking already. And so then I'm going to pull out these Vicki Boutin embellishments. And I meant to have these out before I started recording, but, you know, I didn't. So the first thing I pull off, I'm going to try not to make a mess. Okay, the first thing I pull off is a little white, it's sticking on my finger. And that came from Hello Friend. And most of the stuff on there I couldn't use because it was silver and I have all this gold on here. But this just says magical, and I feel like that's super fitting of the picture where I put it. And then the other one comes off of Escape the Ordinary, and it is a word phrase that says, let life surprise you. And I thought that both of those were fitting. And even though there's no blue in this layout, or really, well, I guess there's some blue in the inspiration, but I just like that color. So I'm going to bring a little of it in the background paper, but really it's just more a pop of that color right there on that. What could be the title, could be a subtitle, because I'm going to put a word phrase above the main picture, but you know, whatever, it could be whatever you want it to be. So the stars are gold, and depending on the lighting or what's reflecting from them, they keep changing colors, but they are gold. And I just love this paper. I'm going to be hard pressed not to go try and find another one, but I'm not. I'm going to try and be good. So this little notebook paper thing is one of the ephemera from my kit, and I love this. I am bound and determined I'm going to buy myself a punch that does the notebook paper because I love that look. But I don't like that it's not tall enough to come from one side of the paper to the other. And so I'm trying to figure out if that's what I want to do with this. Originally I had it up at the top, and that looked weird having a big gap from the bottom. And I certainly don't want to lose that gorgeous butterfly paper. I do not scrap butterflies all that often, but I do use them, and I'm definitely not one to waste. So I put a little Nouveau Deluxe on here, and I'm going to tuck this in right in that Let Life Surprise You. It's like right on the edge of that. Maybe not completely, but pretty close. And then I'm going to fiddle around with some things and try and tuck them up there in that corner that's open. And nothing seems to make me happy. I tried all those little blue things because I was going to try and bring more of that color in, but none of them really spoke to me. So I pulled this, love this, and that is not where I wanted it. I wanted it up a little higher, but it got tacked down, and trying to pick that up, I tore a smidge of it. And I am going to pull it up a little, the part that says this, and tuck that paper in there, because this paper's got a little of the blue, a little green, a hint of pink, just a couple little papers, and it's really cool looking. And it kind of reminds me of, and I might get this wrong, I think it's Monet's The Starry Night. Has like that, like, I don't know, kind of texture in the sky. I think it's Monet. I'm not super art enthusiast, but my daughter created a 3rd grade replica, and it was actually quite stunning. I've done a layout on it before for a 10-year-old who had just started painting. She did a fabulous job. Anywho, so I cut this paper because I love this so much. Plus it has grid paper on the back, and that's really good for documenting and using for journaling. So I didn't want to waste any of that, so I cut the little rectangle off. And so then I'm just using Nouveau to get that back down and glue the little piece that had kind of torn from the sticky part on the back. And so I do love that, how it looks now with that paper, and that it's makes that a full little L right there instead of having a big gap. And then on there was a couple of little gold circles that were on the project pad, and I went ahead and used those. And then I got these Place and Time Summer Paper Crafting Metal Stars, and I've used all but one. These are from Joann's. I must have gotten them in the last year or so because that's when I started shopping at Joann's again. I thought they had closed, but they had closed and reopened at another location. I didn't know that. My pocketbook appreciated me not knowing that. Oh well, I know now. So then I also pull out these Park Lane adhesive gems that are gold stars, and I just kind of scatter those around. I am not doing a cluster of 3 here necessarily. I just kind of put them to where I feel like they need a little something, and I don't want it like overdone because there's stars all over the yellow paper, but I kind of want, some of these little itty bitties to be close to the big stars. And then I put one on each of those little gold circles that I brought in from the project pad because I thought that it kind of gave it a little bit of something. And I really do love the way this turned out. So then I'm going to get a Moonlight jelly roll pen, and I just write 3/18/22 at 2 a.m. on the little curve right here. And I considered doing a little more journaling there, but there's really not anything to say. So I am going to show you the pen one more time. And like I said, you can gain inspiration from anything. This had nothing to do with scrapbooking, so I just really loved the stars and that swooshy feel. And so I hope you all will go down in the description box, follow along with all the awesome people who are creating with pineapple papers and off the board. And I also would love it if you all would come back tomorrow for day 8. I will have another off the board with pineapple papers. I'm also going to be celebrating with Shannon, scrapping with Shannon, celebrating her 500 subscribers. And then the next day on Saturday, I will be back with my next episode or series or video with Courageously Crafting, scrapbooking through the hard stuff. And I would love to see you there as well. I hope you all have a fantastic day and happy scrapping.